guys, and welcome to the Ready Hope with me, Dee. Today I'm going to take you through a simple practice for some better sleep. So you can do this on the comfort of your own mat, or you can do this in bed. It's totally up to you. We're just going to use some props today. So if you have a strap, or you can also use the string off your dressing gown, a scarf, or a belt. If you don't have a strap, that's also fine. You can use the wall. And also you can use a block. If you don't have a block, you can just use a pillow. So grab whatever you need and we can get started. So we're just going to start in a seated position. We'll start in hero's pose today. So I'm just going to sit on my legs. Spine is straight and long. We'll bring the shoulders up, back and down. We'll bring our arms out to the sides. And first we're going to bring the right arm on top. We're going to give ourselves a little hug and just stretch out those shoulders. Exhaling, opening the arms out to the sides, squeezing the shoulder blades. And we'll bring the opposite arm on top this time. Again, giving ourselves a hug. Bring our arms out to the sides. This time we're going to bring the right arm up, left arm comes down. So I'm just going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing here in a second. So, still in hero's pose, just stretch the shoulders. So you can grab opposite arms if you can. If you can't, you can feel free to use your strap or your dressing gown or your scarf here and grab opposite ends. I'm just pulling on the strap wherever is good for you. Take a couple of breaths here, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Then release. We'll bring the arms out to the sides and we'll do the same with the opposite side. Left arm comes up, right arm comes in behind the back of the hand on the back. Come to reach opposite fingertips if you have your strap. Take a few breaths here. And release. So staying in our hero pose or sitting on our heels, we're going to lengthen the spine and we'll just walk the hands back behind. So we just gently come to lean back, opening up the chest. You can stay here or you can come to look up, leaving a little space on the back of the neck so we're not scrunching the neck. Take a few breaths here. Looking forward, gently walk the hands back up to center. We'll just come to stretch the neck forward then, so you can bring your chin to your chest. We're going to interlace the fingers and bring them to the back of your head and just gently pushing the head forward. Spine remains straight and long. No stress in the shoulders or the neck. Just take a few breaths here. And inhaling back up to center. So next we're going to come into wide-legged child's pose. So you can bring your knees hip distance or wider apart. We'll bring the toes together to touch. Now if you have a pillow or anything, you can feel free to bring it in behind the knees and come to sit back on that pillow or sit back onto the heels. We're going to walk the hands out in front. Also, if you have a pillow here, you can feel free to lie down onto that pillow or walk the hands forward and bring your forehead down to a block or a pillow or just down onto your bed or your mat. And we're just going to lie here for a few breaths, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. So let your body totally unwind, surrender and relax. And just keep your focus on your breath. With each exhale, try and relax a little deeper and deeper, slowing the breath, calming the mind. As we inhale, we lift the forehead, start to creep the hands back. You can remove any props that you've been using. As we come back to seated position. So we're just going to lean back, bring the legs out in front. So again, you can use your strap here if you like. As we inhale, we're going to lengthen the spine, bring the shoulders up, back and down. Bring the hands down by the sides. We'll just take a breath here. On our next exhale, we're going to hinge from the hips and start to lean forward. So if you don't have a strap, that's okay. Just try and reach for the knees, the shins, the ankles, or you can interlace the fingers around the toes. If you have a strap, you can wrap around the soles of the feet and just pulling on the strap, gently folding forward. Inhaling, we're lengthening the spine, and exhaling, folding a little deeper into the pose. And it's totally fine to have a little bend in the knees here if you have tight hamstrings. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to fold a little deeper. Next inhale, slowly rising back up to center. We're going to come into a butterfly pose. So you can bend the knees, hug them in towards the chest, and then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So if you have really tight hips here, you can come to sit up on a prop. So if you have a block or a pillow, just pop it in under your bums. That helps to open up the hips. We'll let the knees fall out to the sides. Now if it's really uncomfortable and your knees are rising up, you can also bring cushions in under your knees to help to relax into this pose. So as we inhale, we're going to lengthen the spine. And take a couple of breaths here. You can even bob the knees up and down. Feel that stretch in the hips. Feel free to stay here. If you want to deepen the pose, inhaling to lengthen, exhaling, just gently come to fold forward and just surrender down over the feet. Stretch the back, help us relax. Just let the head hang. We'll take a few deep breaths here, breathing deeply into the hip region. Inhaling, slowly rising back up to center. You can grab the outside of the knees and bring them in. And we're going to come to lie down on our back, and we can use our pillow or our block here as we're going to come into a supported bridge pose. So you can slowly come to lie down on your bed or your mat. We're going to keep the knees bent, about hip distance or wider apart. You should be able to just touch the heels, the fingertips. Using our prop, you're going to push into the feet, pushing the hips up towards the sky, and then bring the prop just in under the lower back. We're just going to relax in a supported bridge pose here. We'll take a few breaths here. Breathing deeply in and out through the nose. pushing into the soles of the feet. Lift the hips, release the prop, and just let your back come down onto your mat or your bed. Next, we're going to come into legs raised pose. So if you have a strap here, feel free to use that. If you don't, you can come to the wall. And we're going to bring our legs up to the wall. So come to sit as close to the wall as you can. And then we're just going to come to lie down, swing the legs up the wall, and come to lie down on our back. And just shuffle in. Get the bum as close to the wall as you can. We're just going to lie with our legs up the wall. Palms away from the body, palms facing up. And just focus on some long, deep inhales and exhales through the nose here. Feel free to stay here. If you want to change up the stretch, either if you have a strap or if you're up against the wall, I'm going to let the legs fall out to each side. Take a few deep breaths here. Supporting the legs just by the knees. You can come to bend the knees and reach for the insides of the feet as we come into happy baby pose. So you're just pulling the knees down towards your armpits or your bed or your mat. Just take a few breaths here. Releasing the hands. You can come to swing around back onto your mat or release your strap. We're just going to come into a gentle twist. So knees remain bent. You can drop the knees towards the right hand side. Arms can come into a T shape, or you can place that right hand on the left knee and then come to look over the left shoulder. Take a few deep breaths here. Just stretching out the spine, working on those digestive organs. Inhaling, looking back up towards the ceiling, bringing the knees back to center. We'll do the same at the opposite side. So let those legs fall towards the left and come to look over the right shoulder. If you like, you can place your left hand on your right knee this time. Take a few deep breaths here. Inhaling, looking back up towards the ceiling. Bring the knees back up to center. And finally, we're going to come into Shavasana, or final resting pose. So let the heels fall out towards the edges of the mat. Arms come away from the body, palms facing up. You can come to close your eyes. Let your breath come back to a normal rhythm. And just notice how your stomach rises as you inhale and falls as you exhale. With each exhale, feel your body relax deeper and deeper into your mat or your bed. free to stay in this position for as long as needed. If you're in bed, you can feel free to get under the covers and relax and drift off to sleep. Coming out of the position, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. As you inhale, reach the arms back overhead. Bring the feet together and stretch the whole body. Bending the left knee, bring the sole of the foot to the mat. And whenever you're ready, come to roll onto your right side. You can take a breath here. Pushing into the left palm. And slowly come up into a cross-legged seated position. Bring the hands to the knees. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Bring your hands together at heart center. Namaste.